This is the most important video I've ever shot. Let's take a look. I'm breaking down our anti-gravity program. Our anti-gravity program officially launches in 7 weeks. We've been 5 weeks into it. This was a pilot program of basically taking everything I know and trying to make a guaranteed jump improvement program. There's a lot more than meets the eye. Let's just start from the beginning. Why split squat? It's the exercise I found most important for the step before your jump. When you jump, you start by pushing the ground and exploding to go into the jump. The split squat gives you the strength in your quad to explode while working your hip flexor flexibility, the strength of your hip flexors, your ankle mobility. So it's just the best way I've found to go about improving your explosiveness. But you don't only get a split squat from the quads, you also have to pull, when you're running, you have to pull that ground beneath you. So the split squat plus the Nordic sets you up for your jump. Then once it gets to the actual point of jumping, now it's all about reverse step ups and seated good morning step, the strength in your back to not cave at the knees. But these have exact specifics of how we do them, meaning I would like you to be flat ground doing 5 sets of 5, getting stronger on your split squat. But if you have skinny legs, you're better off doing 5 sets of 12 and actually getting more repetitions. And if you have a weak deadlift, which is down here, all these numbers are going to be coordinated. We actually have like a manual coming out in 7 weeks, a manual that you keep track of your numbers. It tells you exactly what to do. If you're weak through that mid part of overcoming force, which we're going to train through what I call a clean deadlift, then a walking lunge is actually going to help you get stronger at that midpoint through the glute. So you're going to be keeping tabs on all your numbers. It's going to tell you exactly what to do. But basically, we want to improve split squat. We want to improve Nordic, which will have its own details. We want to improve reverse step up. We do 3 different forms, as you know. How do you know which one to do? Let's take a look. Right off the bat, if when you're split squatting, if knee pain limits how heavy you can go, how deep you can go on a split squat, you have to get your VMO to take over more of the work. So elevating your heel, toe slightly out, this is our Poliquin step up. Elevating your heel is going to force that VMO to work harder. And we want to build that, you would want to build that to 6 inches. We monitor everything for the pain, so if it hurts, you just go lower. Anyone can do this. You can even start off right off the floor right there. But you want to work this one to 6 inches. This is the one that relates most to pain-free knees. But if your leg is fine and it's more ankle mobility that's limiting you on a split squat from getting all the way down, hamstrings cover the calf, then you're going to do the Patrick version where you're flat and you're actually keeping your heel down, getting your ass to finish in front of your heel, and you're going to build that way. If you can flat ground split squat, perfect form, no pain, then you're doing the version that has the most carryover to, you've got your push, and then you have your punch step, boom, it's off the ball of the foot with the knee over the toe. So the one that has the most direct carryover to jumping higher is the Peterson step up. Toes still slightly out. You have to put your weight onto the ball of your foot and strengthen back up. And you want to be driving this. There's no limit that I would say that, I don't think there's like a strength limit, but I will show you really quick, and it's going to be suggested to get to these targets. And once you get there, the idea would be not to go past them, but to make sure you have all of them. So split squat, 100% of your weight. I've seen when the better you can rep out 100% of your weight, you're going to be world class. Nordic, building to where you can do a single leg Nordic on the way up, that's world class. Reverse step up, 100%. I want 6-inch box, Peterson step up, 100% of your body weight on your back. I don't want you to go more than that. I want you to just dominate that more as a better approach than worrying about going more. Especially like, for example, I can do that, but I can't do that. So trying to drive up even more weight on the Peterson step up is going to be more or less a waste of my time. But I've trained guys who can do 100% on split squat but can't do 100% on Peterson step up. And for them, just trying to go heavier and then maybe like not as good a form, no. Just use that 100% and just dominate it even more. Then seated good morning as well, 100%. So I'd rather see an athlete do single leg Nordics, 100% body weight, repping it out like nothing, 100% on Peterson step up, and 100% on seated good morning, abs to bench without the chest touching with thigh parallel. I'd rather see an athlete doing all those than take one of them higher. I'm not saying you can't do it eventually, but that's gonna be a good problem to have. You're gonna have like a 50 fucking inch vertical. Now, an athlete only has to do this. You give me a basketball player who's long and can play the game. You just get them good at that. That's your push, your punch. You can become one of the world's best basketball players just with that. But there is such a thing as getting a boost. There's additional by just using like more compound lifts. You can get a boost out of it. So let's take a look at front squat. I'll throw my body weight on there, and we'll take a look at my form. We can just put that one on too. Put that one on too. Now I want you to watch my form. I want you to pay attention. I don't need those. I want you to pay attention to my ankle mobility and my lower back posture, and think how this relates to split squat and seated good morning. Split squat and seated good morning are going to add up to how safely and how much you can get out of squatting. So my upper arms are going to stay parallel to the floor. My knees can go over my toes, and I can keep my back posture and squat. So I can get a lot out of just squatting. But the guy who doesn't have the ankle mobility or the hip mobility, it's now getting very limited. So that person is better off just doing more sets of split squat and seated good morning than wasting their time on a squat. However, if you just want to put muscle on those VMOs, we can take the weights off the demo this way. So if you just want more muscle on the VMOs, 3 sets of 20, and each rep, you're trying to get your ass to touch your heels and do a 1 1/4 rep. 3 sets of 20 of these is gonna put more muscle on those VMOs. But if that hurts your knee, so just for knee pain, at my height, it'd be about there. Just for knee pain, you finish down your workout, 3 sets of 20, purely knees. Because without going to that full bend, you can do that. Anyone can do that because you can make it as high as you need to. You can go as light as you need. I mean, I can barely. You get the point. You can go above shin parallel, but I want you trying to work to shin parallel and use a bar. And you can always go down a level, meaning even though I'm qualified to front squat, I could still do I could still use the squat ramp and just try to grow my VMOs, or I could just focus on even more abundance of knee health with the KOT squat. Now, let's look back over here. For me, I'm not gonna spend time right now on these two. Why? Because my front squat is weak. So if we put a number here, on the front squat, I've actually found that, whoop, my writing's a little off, 150. I found that, and there can be variance, but for the most part, the more you can just dominate and like keep your torso vertical and let the weight like stretch you with 150% of your weight, I'm only doing really good sets at about 100% of my weight. But now let's take a look here. I want the hip at full bend and the hip at full extension to be about the same strength in terms of how I measure it, 150% each. So let's take a look over here. Here's 150% just on the hip extension. And keep in mind that I've trained a lot of guys who can front squat way more than me, but can't run as fast as me at top speed. And they're much weaker than me at full extension. So now some of those guys even had like a faster start than I did, but I had a faster top end speed. This, I'm actually stronger. I don't even think I can do 150% for one good rep on a front squat. But this 150% on an exercise that's now gonna work my hips purely at full extension. So I'm getting that weight, and I'm trying to hold it right there. So working holds on that for the guy with a big squat. You'll find a lot of guys with big squats and they can't hold shit for 30 seconds at full extension. I can hold that for 30 seconds at full extension. And Derek, can you do me a favor and put a yellow on it? We put a yellow and another 5 kilo. We'll be at twice. We'll be at twice my body weight. So, due to the nature of gravity and physics and different things, I found that whatever you do 150%, like 150% of your weight for front squat, 200% for a clean deadlift. So in other words, whatever your clean deadlift, the same amount of reps, whatever, you should be able to do perfect form front squats. And you should be able to do 75% of whatever that on a back extension hold. So I call it a clean deadlift for 2 reasons. One is because in Olympic lifting, a clean means you can't like break and be like this, because you're never gonna get a good, like to actually get a good clean in Olympic weightlifting, you wanna be able to keep the back strong. So that's kind of the idea. So it's a play on words, because also clean means like the form was good. So it's a clean deadlift. I normally would train deadlift barefoot, just based on the part of the lift. We're trying to overload the mid, not the full bend. So I'm trying to keep that lower back. So I'm trying not to let my back break. But the front squat is hip at full bend. Clean deadlift is hip at like half bend, and then back extension hip at full bend. And by having those in the right ratio, it simplifies it. If I just keep driving on my deadlift, I would actually potentially cause more knee pain and not be able to handle the force and actually end up with a lower jump. But if I get my front squat now able to handle the same number I can do proportionally here, I know I'll jump higher. So that's why certain jumpers you'll see say, when my deadlift goes up, my jump goes up. But another guy say, when my Isaiah Rivera is killing it right now, he made it posted it. When my ATG squat goes up, he's talking about ass to drag. My ATG squat goes up, my jump goes up. And he might be okay with saying this, but he's worked his ATG split squat, he's come down here and trained. He does his backward slider dead mill to recover down after jump sessions, just like we have in the latest edits of the anti-gravity program. So for him, he finds that when he improves his squat, he jumps higher. But you'll find that his deadlift to squat ratio indicates that by improving his squat, he'll jump higher. So if we look back at the board, this is the Monday, Thursday leg training. This is what I think a lot of people have been waiting for, which is ATG meets studies and science and all that basic shit. So the anti-gravity program that's coming out is going to tell you exactly this is, you're training your legs Monday, Thursday, and then Tuesday, Friday, which we could probably shoot a video just as long, is all of Jeff's. He's on the camera, and for the sake of this, I'll just keep it simple and focused how you can see that we're actually using numbers and science behind making your body feel better. Because there's 3 things about anti-gravity that no one's tried to put them together. So from the start, even the program people are doing right now, it's basically the first jump program that the #1 goal is to get healthier. And then the #2 thing is that we actually have a professional dunker coaching your actual jumps, like your actual jumping. The whole idea is to be healthy and jump. If you're healthy and jump, this is one of our drills. Push, punch. If you're healthy and you can jump, it is a lot easier to get better at jumping. So we have a professional watch your jumps. We have a professional, it's myself and the guys, making you healthier. That's what we do. But then there is the third thing, which is basically getting stronger, like in the senses that make you jump higher, pound for pound, increasing how strong your body can push into the ground. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday is leg day. It is massive. Tuesday, Friday is just mobility, flexibility, whatever you want to call it, and upper body. Like, we're basically letting the legs rest. But man, are we taking our mobility really seriously. There's no running and hiding from the fullness of this program. Then Wednesday, Saturday, or Sunday, it doesn't fully matter which day, but basically Wednesday weekend, we are actually jumping. And I filmed full warm-ups of exactly how you're getting into your jump. So you just have to follow what I say exactly step for step. It'll tell you exactly what jumps to do, exactly what to send Connor when he watches your jumps. So we're putting that all together, and there's even more details behind this, but basically you'll be keeping track of your numbers, and you'll be systematically getting healthier, systematically improving your jump form and balance, and systematically getting stronger. So now it's literally gonna get, because you're getting stronger, it's gonna get easier to jump, but you're gonna be healthier. So less pain, more strength, and world-class jump coaching. So this is the jump program that's gonna shock the world and change the world, because it's everything anyone's ever wanted from a jump program. It even gets down to, on your jump days, how to know when you do, like what kind of plyos do you do, when do you do plyos, how do you know how many, if you should do 1 foot jumping or 2 foot jumping. So just how I explained, if this is the leg day, and if you can see how detailed this is, keeping track of your stuff, it's just as detailed on the mobility upper body, and it's just as detailed on your actual jump days. So I really wanted to shoot this video because we have plenty of people who are up to 5 weeks in on our anti-gravity program, which centers around this, but I've been keeping all the results actually for years, but seeing how do you integrate this perfectly with that. So that's the update. You'll see it reflected on the program, but you'll understand that we're still 7 weeks out from having a manual to keep track of all this stuff. So all this will be listed in writing in the app of what to do. It'll be on the site, but it'll be even easier to follow once you have a physical pack manual sent to you that you keep track of your numbers, dates, the jumps you did, and then you send in, you'll be required to send in exact things from your strength, exact things from ability, exact things from jumps to have your form coached, just like you're here doing it. So